I bought the cheapest massage gun on Amazon. So in this video, we're going to talk about whether or not I got scammed, the pros and cons of this specific device, and whether or not you should consider getting one. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Nate. I'm a physical therapist, and today we're going to be reviewing the cheapest massage gun that I could find on Amazon, the Arboleaf CM20C. Now, before we get started, I just want to make it clear that this video is not sponsored, and this company, Arboleaf, did not send me this massage gun, and they are not paying me to promote this. I bought this for my own personal use and for using with patients and clients that I see in person. That being said, if you are interested in learning more about this device or picking one up for yourself, I will leave an Amazon affiliate link down below. All right, let's start off with the number one question that you're probably wondering, which is how much did this cost? So what I did when I went to Amazon was I searched for massage gun and then sorted from price low to high. Now, usually what happens when you do this is you end up with all the sponsored posts right at the top, and then below that is usually all the new listings that are incredibly cheap and have almost no buyers or reviews. So what I did is, after sorting from lowest to highest, is I scrolled down until I found the product with the most amount of positive reviews. And that turned out to be this Arboleaf CM20C. Now, I don't know if they were running a sale or if I got a special promotion, and I'm not sure if this price is gonna last forever, but I ended up picking this up for $47, which is pretty ridiculous because I remember a few years back when I got my first massage gun, it was several $100s. So that is how I landed on this $47 massage gun. It was the cheapest option with the largest bank of positive reviews. All right, so that's the background. Let's get into the device itself. The CM20C has a very sleek full metal design. It weighs just over a pound, so it's not too heavy, but it has a really solid feel to it. The Arboleaf is charged via a USB port on the bottom of the device, and it does include a charging cable in the case. It has two 2000 milliamp batteries on the inside, which the company claims gives the device up to 2 weeks of battery life at 30 minutes of use per day. Now, I haven't fully tested out this claim yet, but honestly, if it had even half of that, I would be happy with it. 30 minutes of continuous use per day is a lot. That's probably more than what most people would use. And to be able to do that for a full week or two straight without charging it is pretty impressive. Now, they do say that this depends on the settings that you're using, so if you're constantly using a higher speed on the device, the battery might not last quite as long. But again, even if you have to charge this, let's say once every week, that's still a pretty impressive battery life and probably way beyond what most people need. Inside the box, you'll get a few things. The first is a drawstring carrying case. This is able to hold the device and the 4 different heads that it comes with. The first, and my personal favorite, is what they call the flat head. This one gives a nice widespread diffuse pressure across the surface that you're running it over. So I found this one to be the most comfortable for me and for clients that I use it on because the pressure is sort of spread out more. The next is what they call the ball head. Pretty self-explanatory. It's about the size of a golf ball, but it's got a nice rubberized texture to it. And again, this one is also pretty good at spreading out the pressure and the massage over a larger surface area. The next two are a little bit more pinpoint or concentrated in their pressure. This first one is what they call the bullet head, or what's often referred to as a thumb head. Again, pretty self-explanatory. This one closely mimics the pressure that you would get if you were pushing your thumb really hard into your muscle or soft tissue. But it's nice to have this option for a more deep tissue massage. And then the final one is what they call the fork head. This one has 2 prongs about 1.5 inches apart that give very concentrated pressure and massage to a specific area. So usually people will use a head like this on something like the back of your neck or the back of your spine. With this, you can provide pressure and soft tissue massage to both sides of the spine without going directly on it. So this one's pretty helpful at getting around those more bony areas. All right, next up, let's talk about the different settings and speeds on the device. So down at the bottom, we have the power switch. You're gonna hold this button for a few seconds in order to engage it into the first setting. According to the company, this first setting pulses at about 2000 RPM. If you press that button one more time, we'll go to the second setting, which is 2500 RPM. Another press will get you to level 3, which is 3000 RPM. Level 4 is 3200 RPM. And then a final press of the button will get you to level 5, which is what they call pressure adaptive speed. So this is actually a pretty cool setting. It starts out at 1000 RPM, but has the ability to go all the way up to its highest level at 3200 RPM, depending on the pressure that you use. So if you go really light, it's gonna be at about about 1,000 RPM to 2,000 RPM. And if you push really hard, it's gonna get all the way up to 3,200 RPM. So practically, this is a really nice setting because it starts out really gentle if you apply just a little bit of pressure, but the harder you press into the tissue, the more the device pushes back. Now, one thing to always consider with massage guns is the noise level. I remember the first massage gun I bought sounded like an actual jackhammer. There was no way you could use it discreetly in a gym or an office or at home without everyone else around you knowing. The Arboleaf is not like that. The company claims that the average noise level is around 40 decibels, ranging from 35 on the low end to about 55 on the high end. So just to give you some context, this is at level 5 at its lowest RPM, and I'm holding it right up near the microphone, and you probably can't hear it at all. And what I'll do is I'll keep talking as I slowly scroll through these levels and see if you can pick it up. Eventually you might start to hear it at level 2, and then level 3 you can hear it kicking up a little bit more. Level 4 is going to be the loudest. This is at its highest RPM at 3,200 rotations per minute. So this one you can definitely start to hear, and if you were across the room or across the office, you might hear this setting. But if we go back to level 5, which is again going to be its quietest setting, you almost can't hear this at all. And if you're hanging out at level 1, or level 2, it's barely noticeable. So that's something that really shocked and surprised me when I first tried this out. This is definitely something you could use even if you had a baby sleeping in the other room or you were trying to use it quietly at the gym. So that is definitely a major and surprising pro of this device is its noise level. Another big pro of the Arboleaf is what we call its stall force. So stall force is the amount of pressure that's required to actually stop the motor from turning. The company claims that the CM20C has 35 pounds of stall force. So that means we can push against the device with up to 35 pounds of force before the motor stalls out. And this is really important when it comes to actually using a soft tissue massage gun. Because if you had a really low stall force of under 10 pounds, you would notice that every time you push with just a little bit of force into a muscle, that the device would essentially stop working. So 35 pounds of stall force is definitely not a crazy amount. Like there's massage guns on the market that can do a lot more than that. But honestly, I think in most cases, you're never gonna notice this and you're never gonna be pushing hard enough to actually stall out the motor. Just to give you some context on this, I'll actually push as hard as I can until the motor stalls out. So this is on level 1 at 2,000 RPM. All right, so right about there, I'm able to stall out the motor, but that requires a pretty significant amount of force that you're probably not gonna get from a normal soft tissue massage. All right, so we've gone over most of the pros about this cheap Amazon massage gun. The construction quality is top notch. It's got a really good weight to it. It's got a really simple, clean design. It comes with 4 heads, a travel bag, a large battery, and good stall force. And bottom line is it just works really well. It's effective, it's portable, it gets the job done, and obviously you can't beat that price. Okay, so what are the cons, if any, that come with the Arboleaf massage gun? The first one, and this is pretty petty and obviously person dependent, but as of right now, they don't really have a lot of color options. I really like this sort of sleek, dark gray and black look, but it also has this sort of purpley silver ring around the arm. Now, I don't think this is a deal breaker for most people, and it definitely wasn't for me, but one small nitpicky thing is I just wish they had more colorways and more options for how the device looked. To be honest, the only potential con that I can really come up with when it comes to this device is just everything surrounding the brand, the warranties, and potential longevity issues. This device works incredibly well, and I've had absolutely no issues with it up until this point, but time will tell if this is something that's gonna last years and years, or if it's something that you're gonna have to replace eventually. Now, obviously the good thing is that if you do buy this through Amazon, you have sort of the built-in trust of that brand and their return policies baked in. So that usually gives me a lot of confidence knowing that if the device is defective or it stops working in the first month or something happens with it, you can usually always send it back and either get a new one or get a refund. Now, I don't know how official this actually is or if this is in official writing anywhere else, but on the Amazon listing for this Arboleaf, the company does state that they promise to provide a 3-year warranty on the device. So you're kind of just taking them at their word for that based on what they wrote on the Amazon listing. But it is nice to know that the company seems to stand by their product and would help you out if you had any issues with it. The only reason I even bring that up is because I don't think most people have heard of the company Arboleaf Arboleaf. As far as I know, they don't have a massive online presence or reputation built up yet. But again, honestly, for me, for a less than $50 item that works incredibly well right out of the box, I would honestly not even be too upset if this only lasted me a couple years and then I had to buy a new one. You could easily go out and drop $300 or $400 on a really high-end massage gun. But honestly, now that these options have gotten so affordable and so well made, I think it's a lot harder to justify going with one of the big brands. So bottom line, I would absolutely recommend this cheap Amazon massage gun. Again, I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in checking it out or picking one up for yourself. But I think this is just such a great bang for your buck. It's so well made for the price, and I've gotten a lot of really good use out of it so far. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on all things health, fitness, and rehab related. I'll see you in the next video.